Hi, welcome to another edition of the Bundesliga show. Here with me, Razak Musbah and Chris Arrington of DW TV there. Well, Chris, good to see you again. Let's talk a bit about Jude Bellingham. Of course, earlier in the week you spoke about Yusufa Moukoko, but it's his teammate, Jude Bellingham, whom we understand is likely to leave the club in 2023. What's happening there?
Yeah, you know, Dortmund get one thing right. They somehow find the young talent that the bigger clubs really want to hire. And Jude Bellingham and Yusufa Moukoko are both in that category. Now, in terms of Jude Bellingham, previous estimates had him at a price tag of 100 million euros. Latest reports say that valuation is now increased to 150 million euros. Dortmund's CEO came out and spoke about Bellingham recently, saying, you know, when the World Cup's over, we'll have a sit down with he and his advisors and see what he wants to do. Now, one thing is very clear. Clubs have expressed their interest, namely Liverpool. Him coming out of England, I think that's more feasible that he would return to England, you know, given that his family and other things, of course, you know, would be there. And it makes sense. And one thing is that I'm not sure Dortmund can play this back and forth game like they've done with other players in the past, namely Erling Haaland. I think one thing that the CEO mentioned is that we can't afford to have a financial fight. So it looks like they're going to be looking to fill their coffers aside from anything else. And I wish Jude Bellingham the best in his career. Now, in terms of Moukoko, the latest reports about him. Now, he's only 17 years old, soon to be 18, of course. Actually, November 20th, right around the World Cup kicking off, about officially when the World Cup kicks off, actually. And he's been linked to clubs. Now, the one thing that makes his case a little bit different is the playing time question. Moukoko probably wouldn't receive the playing time that he's currently receiving in Dortmund if he were to swap clubs. Manchester United has expressed interest, and the asking price is very low in the ballpark, around 20 million euros. You know, but I think obviously when you have to make a choice between playing yourself up to a higher value or departing early just for the, you know, I guess the namesake of the club opposed to what you're doing on the pitch, you know, that's a very hard predicament, a very difficult predicament. I think he's young, he's working out well, and it would serve him best to stay in a Dortmund uniform and to get more minutes on the pitch until he can increase his value. But nonetheless, you know, a lot of clubs, as in the past, have always shown interest in Dortmund players, and it looks like history is just repeating itself.
Interesting, Chris. But elsewhere at Leverkusen, I mean, on loan, Hudson-Odoi turned down an opportunity to play for Ghana at the World Cup. I mean, mind-boggling. But the question is, why will he do that? Is the World Cup for? I mean, it's the World Cup. Why did he turn it down?
Yeah, you know, I was wondering the same thing. He's only 22 years old, and he's actually eligible to play for Ghana as well as England because of his parents, of course. And he was considering his future, maybe switching, you know, nationalities and suiting up for the World Cup. But, you know, since he was brought over on loan to Bayer Leverkusen, it's understandable that he wants to focus on his skill sets. He wants to focus on club football right now. And that's it. This is a player at Chelsea, you know, on and off. He was actually linked to Bayern Munich in the past. He comes from a footballing family, you know, so he does have that lineage. But one thing is missing. He's got to play himself up to a certain point to really fulfill his potential that he believes he has, and that others do as well. You know, he's a very talented young man, and I wish him the best. When you look at his age, he's only 22, add 4 years. I mean, come on, 26 years old is not too bad for him to suit up and compete in a World Cup. It'll be in the United States at that point. I'm looking forward to that one, you know, but all in all, you know, he's made his decision. I wish the Black Stars the best, of course, in the tournament, but they'll have to settle without Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Well, Chris, finally, just before I let you go, what else hit your radar? What else really hit your radar with the exception of, you know, all that is happening?
Yeah, a bit of more of a World Cup news. Denmark is one club that actually wanted to wear World Cup kits that highlighted human rights issues with a message saying human rights for all. That was rejected by FIFA. Obviously, that's to be expected because they'll consider that as some sort of a political message, you know, but I would assume that's a message that everyone could get on board with because it is something that should be universal, this idea. all eyes will be watching what happens in the World Cup. Human rights have been an issue associated with Qatar, and I think all of the journalists in the area will be reporting at any whiff that doesn't smell right in that regard. It's unfortunate that FIFA doesn't do more and hasn't done more to support the idea of human rights, but Denmark's effort, unfortunately, has not been seen come to fruition.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for your time. That's Chris Harrington of our partner station DW TV. My name is Razak Musbao, and for Joy Sports here in Accra, Ghana.